Jnana Bhaskaran, Professor, Department of CSC, subject code 50CB403, subject name software design with UML. Okay, today we will be seeing about the sequence diagram. So the use of interaction or sequence diagram is to model a single scenario executing in the system. Similarly, you can model for any type of scenarios. The key parts of sequence diagram: participant, messages. Participants are object or entity that acts in the sequence diagram, which is represented in the top row and which is connected by vertical dotted lines. Messages, which is used to communicate between the objects. Two types of axis: horizontal, vertical axis. Horizontal, which is used to pass the messages between the object. Vertical tells about the lifetime of the object. Dotted line. So you can see clearly in this example, top row represent the objects which is connected by vertical dotted line, and you can easily understand how messages are exchanged between the object in this diagram. It's an example for searching a book in the library. In the search page, the user will be giving the searching the book, using searching criteria by specifying the name of the author. If it is available, the result will be displayed in the search result page. If the user wrongly typed the author name, it will display the error message. It's a type of scenario to search the book in the library. Representing the object, the top row already you have seen. The top row represents the object which is connected by a dotted vertical line. It's nothing but the object lifetime or lifeline. So you can also add class name with object name. The syntax will be object name followed by colon followed by class name. If you are not adding any object name, only class name, then it is called as an anonymous object. You can also include unknown objects of unknown classes. Already you know the messages are exchanged between the objects. The message contains the name of the message followed by optional arguments. In this example, admit is the message name. Optional arguments are patient ID and room type. Message name with arguments will be passed to the object called as hospital. There are two types of arrows: line with arrow, dotted line with arrow. Line with arrow represent how the messages are passed between one object to another object, and dotted line with arrow, it is a confirmation message returned from the objects. Lifetime of the objects: creation and deletion. You can see that easily in the diagram. So here three types of objects are there. Handler: inside the handler object you are having query command object. Inside that you are having database statement objects. Here you are executing results and you are seeing all those things. And finally you can see the cross symbol, which represent the garbage collection in Java. There is no explicit command to delete the object. Automatically it will be going to garbage collection. As you know already, the objects are created using new statements. Indicating method calls. In the lifeline, that is dotted vertical line, there is a thick box called as activation. Activation represents the starting and ending of the object time. In another diagram, you can see nesting of activation. So in this we will be seeing about selection and looping. If statement, if else statement, loop. So what is loop? The loop is nothing but the object pass the messages from one object to another object, or it may pass the messages to another object. Finally we should get back the confirmation. Then we can say it is a complete loop. So that is the starting and ending of a complete process until getting the confirmation. and it is represented in the corner as loop. And there is another thing called alt, where you can specify the if condition. The value is greater than $10,000, then you can dispatch the order to careful distributor. Otherwise, you can see there is an else part. In the else part, you can dispatch the order to regular distributors. So this is a scenario where the order is dispatched to careful distributor or regular distributor. And there is another thing called as opt, OPT. This is used to represent if without else. In the below diagram, you can see that. And in this diagram, you can clearly see the looping process. Storefront chart inventory. You are adding the item, reserving the item from the chart to inventory, and finally from inventory you are getting confirmation to chart. From the chart you will getting the confirmation to storefront. So then it is called as a loop. Once the starting and ending with the confirmation, then it is called as the process completes. Then it is called as a loop. Forms of system control, two types are there, centralized and distributed. So in this left hand side, you can see that first diagram, you can see that the first object is passing message to all objects. So all object depends on the first object. Whereas in the second diagram, you can see each object generates its own messages to other objects. So it is called decentralized. A good sequence diagram is still bit above the level of real code. You can easily understand, but you cannot draw the entire diagram for the entire code. Sequence diagram are language agnostic, so you can implement in different languages. Non-coders can easily understand this. Easier to do sequence diagram as a team. Can see many object class at a time on the same page with the help of loop, if, and all those things. How the messages are exchanged between the objects. Thanks for kind listening.